Congratulations, you've completed the development of your water right or exchange application. Now it's time to submit proof of beneficial use. To do that, you need to use the Affidavit of Beneficial Use tool. Just to verify, at this point, you have an approved water right or exchange application, drilled a well, and completely placed your water to its approved beneficial use. You may use the Affidavit of Beneficial Use tool, also known as the Proof Affidavit tool, to prepare and submit the necessary documents for your water right to be certificated without the assistance of a professional, which completes the application process. Essentially, you are showing that your water right has been put to use as intended. Please note, in order to use the Affidavit of Beneficial Use tool, your application must be approved for water use that is equal to or less than 1 domestic unit, your home, a quarter acre of irrigation, and 10 equivalent livestock units. These uses are also referred to as a small domestic water right. If your beneficial uses exceed those allowed under a small domestic right, and you don't want to take a reduction, you will need to contact a professional engineer or land surveyor in order to complete a proof of beneficial use. If you have not placed the water to its planned beneficial use, please wait until that point before completing the Affidavit of Beneficial Use. For example, you plan to use the water right for your home and garden. You have completed the home but not the garden irrigation. You will need to wait to file your Affidavit of Beneficial Use until the garden irrigation is also complete. If the proof due date is approaching for your water right and you have received notice that you must submit proof or an extension of time request, an extension request may be filed with a small fee to allow time to complete the development of your application. To complete this process, you will need certain documents handy. It may be best to gather them now. This includes a certificate of occupancy or, in absence of that, a tax notice for the property and knowledge of the location where your water is being diverted, such as a well, spring, or other source, and where it is being used. Let's begin. It's best to complete the process using a laptop or desktop computer. Certain maps and other tools may not perform as expected on a phone or tablet. If you find you must stop during the process to gather additional information, do not close your web browser or the information you entered will be lost and you will need to start over. If you have not navigated to the page with the Proof Affidavit tool, please start by going to waterrights.utah.gov. Once there, select the Applications Forms link here on the right side of our homepage. Under the Proof Applications section, click on the Affidavit of Beneficial Use link. This will take you to the Proof Affidavit tool. First, enter your water right number or application number and click Start. This can be found on your 60-day proof notice, any correspondence from us about the water right, or you can look it up on our website by clicking on Water Rights and then Search. Next, we move to Ownership. Here, you will need to verify the information being presented is correct. You must be the current owner to submit a proof affidavit. If you are not the current owner, you will need to stop and first update title with our office by submitting a report of conveyance. If you're not sure how to do that, just contact our office and division staff will walk you through the process. Please do not attempt to submit a form with the owner's name crossed out and replaced, as it will delay the certification process. If you are the current owner, double-check the address. The information listed is what we have recorded on our water rights database and is public record. It is important that your address is correct and up to date on our records. You may change your mailing address if needed. You must enter a valid phone number. The phone number is used for staff only and is not visible to the public on our website. You may also choose to enter an email address. The email address is also only for internal use. Click Continue and let's move to the map. The location of your well, spring, or other source where water is taken from is known as the point of diversion. When your application was approved, a certain location was approved. This may not be the exact location where your well was drilled or where the spring is actually located. Move the point of diversion to the proper location by clicking on the dot and dragging it to the place on the map where the water is taken from. If you have more than one point of diversion, you can click on the map to add additional points. If you accidentally create more points of diversion than you need, you can delete them by clicking on the point and clicking the Delete Point button here at the top right corner of the map. You can use the plus and minus buttons to zoom in or out on the property. On some computers, the scroll wheel on your mouse will also zoom in and out. Once the dot or dots are in the correct location of your water source, please set the view to show your entire property and click Continue. The next information we need is the location where you are using the water. If the location of use is the same as the mailing address from the ownership screen, you may select the box above the address fields. Please note this should be a physical address, not a post office box. If the location of use is different from the mailing address, please use the data entry fields here to identify the location of use. If desired or known, you may enter the name of your subdivision and lot number. You will need to verify that the parcel number is correct. This can be found on your certificate of occupancy. As part of the proof affidavit tool, you must submit a certificate of occupancy, even if the water right is solely for agricultural or livestock use. If a certificate of occupancy was not given to you by your local municipality, you may submit, in place of the certificate of occupancy, a tax notice showing a home has been constructed on your land. We're halfway through. Now it's time to tell us the different ways you are using your water. You will select either yes or no to the question about the water being used for indoor residential use. If you select yes, you will need to indicate if the residence type is your primary home or a part-time or recreational residence. Then proceed to the next screen by clicking Continue. If you selected no, you can just proceed to the next screen by clicking Continue. The next type of use is irrigation. Please check the first line on the page titled Irrigation Use Information on your original approval. This line will show you the acres of irrigation your application was approved for. If your water right is not being used for irrigation, select No and continue to the next screen. If your water right is being used for irrigation, either select Yes for the number of acres you are approved for, or if you are irrigating a different amount, select Yes but for a different amount and specify the amount of acres or partial acres you are irrigating. Please note you cannot receive a certificate for use greater than what was approved. A map will appear. You will need to draw the location of your irrigation on the map. Start by clicking at some point on the border of your irrigation, then trace the outline of your irrigation. Double-click on the last point to complete the area. You do not need to try to click on the original point again. The program will complete the polygon when you double-click the final point. For example, if you are drawing a rectangle, double-clicking on the final point of the third side will cause the program to link that point back to the original point, creating the fourth side in the process. The completed area will be hatched with diagonal green lines. You may draw multiple polygons if necessary by clicking a new point after completing the prior polygon. You can alter the area by clicking on the hatched polygon. Circles will appear on the outside of the polygon. You can drag the circles to change the area of the polygon. If you want to start over, select the hatched area and click the Delete button located in the upper right-hand corner of the map. You can use the plus and minus buttons to zoom in or out on the property. Once you have drawn the area, please set the view to show your entire property and click Continue to proceed to the next screen. The Affidavit tool will ask you if you are watering animals with this water right. If you are not, select No and proceed to the final step by clicking Continue. If you are watering animals, select either Yes for the number of equivalent livestock units or ELUs you have been approved for, or Yes but for a different amount. If you select Yes but for a different amount, you can enter the number of ELUs you are using or use the calculator to determine your ELUs by entering the number of each type of animal you are watering. Once you have indicated your ELUs, you will use the map to indicate the area where you water the livestock. Click on the image at the bottom of the screen to add a triangular marker on the map indicating there is a trough, or indicate if the animals water directly from the approved source at that location. You can add several points of livestock watering by clicking once on a different point of the map and then clicking on that point once again. If you have entered a point in error, you can delete any point by selecting the point and clicking the Delete Point button located in the upper right-hand corner of the map. You can also click on an existing point and drag to a new location if needed. With all of the livestock watering points in place, click the Continue button and proceed to the next screen. You have now completed your proof affidavit. The last and most crucial step is to review the affidavit before printing. Start by clicking the Generate button. This will generate a PDF of the proof affidavit for you to review. Please note, this will either open a new tab on your browser or prompt you to download the file. If you have a pop-up blocker on your browser, you may have to click to allow the site to open a new tab. If there are any errors on the form, use the menu on the left-hand side of the form to return to the section with errors and correct the errors. Then click Continue. Return to the Print Form section and click the Generate button again and review the new PDF. After review of the proof affidavit, print out the form and sign where indicated. If there is a need for more owner signatures, you may print out additional signature pages. All signatures must be notarized. With the proof affidavit reviewed, signed, and notarized, it's now time to submit the affidavit and accompanying documents. The submission may be done in person at any of our division offices, via email or mail. Please make sure to include the map of beneficial use and certificate of occupancy or tax notice if a certificate of occupancy cannot be issued with the proof affidavit. Once we receive your documents, our division staff will review them. If the submission is not complete or additional information is required, a staff member from the division will contact you via phone or email. If you have any questions or if you notice an error or information that needs to be corrected, contact our office at 801-538-7240. Please have your water right or application number ready to discuss when you call our office. We can make alterations to your proof affidavit with your permission. Thank you for using the Beneficial Use Affidavit tool, and congratulations on putting your water right to use.